Hey everybody, just thought we'd go live, or me. Everyone's busy with Mother's Day, obviously. So everyone listening, happy Mother's Day to everybody and all the dude's family, and all you know. Make sure you say happy Mother's Day to all your moms out there. But yeah, it's been a wild day, and basically just needed to get on the mic and just kind of vent together a little bit. If you've been living under a rock or haven't seen the news today, obviously. You need to catch up. Bob Baffert, of course, winning his 7th Kentucky Derby last week, a week ago yesterday, with Medina Spirit. Medina Spirit tests positive for an overage for an illegal drug, bethmethasone. It's a small dosage, but he tested positive for it. The only horse in the race that tested positive for anything. And of course, a whirlwind has followed that. Churchill Downs is now banned. Bob Baffert from entering horses for the time being. We'll see what that means for Pimlico as we move forward to the Preakness this week. The last thing we saw is that they are looking into it as far as how they're going to handle this. So obviously this is just a mess. And just wanted to bring everybody on here. And if you guys have questions, clarification of what's going on, I thought we could, I could answer these questions and kind of go through a little bit of this. But I first caught wind of this last night. Actually, some sources told me, "Hey, you're gonna want to be ready for tomorrow," and basically about Medina. So I kind of knew what that meant. We were ready, and of course, the news broke this morning that he popped the positive. So, yeah, we're sitting. It's just a nightmare, right? Yeah, let's see. Dr. Tang, what's up, buddy? Bob Baffert is like honestly, he's like Lance Armstrong, and that's exactly what I've been thinking. Since last night, it's just like he is, because at that time, I think everyone really, that Lance Armstrong was untouchable, and obviously he couldn't be doing anything wrong. And it's like, okay, you kind of see where he's at now, and I think that's a legacy that we'll probably end up seeing from Bob Baffert, a very similar one. That Lance Armstrong had, one that I think we all could agree that Bob Baffert is, if you take out all this, right, he's an amazing person for the game. People know him. He's got a good personality. He's likable. Anyone that you talk to outside of racing knows who Bob Baffert is. And then there's this. And then Lance Armstrong was a lot like that, obviously, in cycling. Do you think they will let this horse run at Pimlico, Brandon? I don't know. Like I said, the last word I saw or got directly from Maryland was that they're looking into this and obviously going to decide on what this is or what this means. I'm going to be surprised. I'll just say this. I'll be surprised. And again, this is totally me. I don't know any confirmation. I'll be surprised if Mandaloun is not declared the winner of the Kentucky Derby before the Preakness. So that might answer the question if Medina is going to run, because why would Bob Baffert run Medina Spirit if he didn't win the Derby? So it could be one of those things too. Maybe he will, and hope this thing gets overturned, like we've seen in the past with Charlatan. A year later, the thing finally gets overturned, and Charlatan's finally back to being declared a winner of the Arkansas Derby. So you never know. I mean, maybe he thinks, well, just go run, and this is all going to go, be pushed under eventually, and he's going to be declared the winner. But I would be surprised, just the way Churchill Downs is handling this, which I thought was great. They came out. I'll read you the press. If you haven't seen it, go to racingnews.com. We have a couple articles out there with some of this information. But basically, they say that it is our understanding that Kentucky Derby winner Medina Spirit, of course, it's from Churchill Downs, has posted a race blood sample indicated a violation of Commonwealth of Kentucky. The connections of Medina Spirit have the right to request a test of a split sample and we will understand they intend to do so. So to be clear, if the findings are upheld, Medina Spirit's results of the Kentucky Derby will be invalidated, and Mandaloun will be declared the winner. So that means nothing for us. Anyone that bet this horse, that means nothing. But in terms of the history books, in terms of owners and purses and things of that nature, that's what will happen. Failure to comply with the rules and medication protocols jeopardizes the safety of the horses and jockeys, the integrity of our sport, and the reputation of the Kentucky Derby and all who participates. Churchill Downs will not tolerate it. Given the seriousness of the alleged offense, Churchill Downs will immediately suspend Bob Baffert, the trainer of Medina Spirit, from entering any horses at Churchill Downs racetrack. We will await the conclusion. I thought this was a very important last bit of it. We will await the conclusion of the Kentucky Derby Horse Racing Commission's investigation before taking further steps. Taking further steps. Basically, means he's gonna, if that happens, he'll be DQ'd. So, yeah, it's crazy. I'll go through some of these questions here. Then Concert Tour will win and say, yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the thing. Like, just wait when Concert Tour goes and wins the Preakness, or if they don't do anything and Medina Spirit wins the Triple Crown. How about that? Yeah, they're doing another test, like I just mentioned. So they're going to do it, obviously, because they have they have the right to say, hey, we need to do this test again. Obviously, the thing about this is that I want to make sure people understand. And again, I'm no expert in the drugging and drugs that are administered, even the legal drugs that are administered to racehorses. But people, we saw a lot of people saying, well, what does 21? What was the actual? Was it 21 pentagrams or whatever the fuck it was? 21 picograms of bethamocin. It's basically it's a steroid of sorts for control pain and inflammation. Like, well, that couldn't affect anything. Well, yes and no. One way to think of it, if only 21 picograms was in the blood sample after the race, I mean, just think of what all had to be in the system in the previous, say, 4 or 5 days. So obviously it had declined. Two, what we've seen, and we saw this with Service when the FBI obviously got involved in that there's really, the way this happens is that these illegal tests or drugs that are in these horses' systems that we don't have an actual test for, so to speak, it just comes up unknown, but they can pop up false positives for other drugs such as this one. So it's basically saying the concoction popped up one of these random tests, but there's a lot of other shit in the system. And I mean, when there's smoke, there's fire, right? That's the thing with me. It's like, you don't have to get too cute here to know that this guy is doing something shady. So, my opinion, hey, Jared, opinion on the medication being an anti-inflammatory rather than a class A drug that could be seen as more performance enhancer. Yeah, I think I just kind of answered that. Again, I think from a performance enhancing, the one thing you can say about I think you can say that obviously the 21, it's not very much, but it matters because there was a much higher amount of that. There had to have been within the 96 hours before that. It just had obviously, be given a few days for it to kind of get out of his system. When you do this, obviously horses, the reason they don't quit is because it's helping with, if you and I have an issue and our leg hurts, we stop running, we stop walking, or we take a break. Well, if you get this so much pumped into them and then they don't stop, and that's how you get injuries and things of that nature. The other side, I think the bigger thing is that it's a mask for other things. If this is popping up, it's because it might even be a false thing. Just like, you might not even believe Baffert to be like, yeah, I mean, I don't even know how this got, maybe that's true, but I think it's because there's other shit in his system. Listen, Doug O'Neill was in the race. Cox was in the race. Obviously, multiple, 19 or I guess 18 other horses in the race, and none of them tested positive for anything. So there's a 100% chance they both run in Preakness. I'm going to disagree with that, Michael. I think it's very possible, but I wouldn't say it's 100%. Let's see. Mark, what's up? At what point would the feds possibly get involved? Listen, that's the question. Because, we refuse to do anything in horse racing to actually make this better. This one being the Kentucky Derby, where I think there are, so to speak, kind of hands are tied or forced to do something. Because obviously, as you guys have seen, it's everywhere. CNN, ESPN, New York Times, Yahoo. It's everywhere. It's worldwide at this point. So yeah, it's a black eye for sure. It's awful. And so there's going to have to be something done. And until we want to decide that we want to do something as an industry, that's the thing. Yeah. He goes and runs in the Derby, or goes, say they do run the Preakness. Who's betting them? Probably all of us, right? I mean, do you want to pick the winner? I mean, so that's the thing. Like, do we just stop betting them and just say, fuck it? Or, I mean, so that's the thing. If he runs them, guess who's betting them? We all are, because you're not going to, I mean, you're like, well, he's juicing them up. We know that. It's proven. And so I'm going to have to bet him. Let's see. Shot the horse is basically humans take it to numb pain. It still helps performance. Yeah. See, Mark. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's like I say, it's actually a big reason why horses break down. At least it can be. Yeah, that is. I think it's 10 is the limit. Is what I had read, and so he's obviously double. But like I say, it was much higher than that. Had to have been during the race. Yeah, the only difference is that Bob Baffert doesn't know how to clean his samples, and Lance did. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like when I first heard this news last night, I was like, even if you listen to the live stream, we were at the Derby, and obviously I was very adamantly upset with just the results, even though we had cashed tickets on Medina and we used them and everything. It was like, it was a great day for the business and our wagering and our money. I was like depressed, and it's just because it's like, it just gets so old, and it makes racing not enjoyable to watch when you just know that it's like this, it's happening. And I just can't even imagine having like the balls, like the stones this guy has, right, to do this in the Kentucky Derby of all places, to just be like, hey, we're going to do it. And I think it was like when it's one of these horses, it's like 8-5 or even money or whatever. You're like, well, that horse was probably good enough anyways. When it's 12-1 Medina Spirit and he wins and holds off other horses, and you can look back to even last year. I mean, Authentic obviously didn't have any positives, but I mean, say what you want there. Yeah, I mean, listen, I really hope this is false. Being a Baffert fan, but I don't know. People are just like, here's the thing. Thanks for commenting, because, and I'll like Haltran and I, biggest Baffert fans. I mean, possible for years and years. And I think a lot of people are that way when they get into the game, because I say he's a very likable dude. But over the last year or two, it's just like, we're just done with it. We're just done. It's just like, it just is like, we're just, I don't think we would have, if we would have gotten to the game now versus when we got into the game, say 10, 15 years ago, it was like, I don't know if we would have the same excitement that we had, because it's just getting so old that you just watch this over and over and you see horses re-break. I mean, if you watch the 7th race yesterday at Churchill Downs, I mean, that's insane. I mean, these horses just re-break, and it just gets old watching it. So listen, I understand why you're a Baffert fan. And even if you watch the press conference that Pollock Report put on, go to their Twitter page and you can watch the press conference. If you watch that, even knowing what I know, like, we know too much, I'm like, yeah, maybe he's right. He's great with words. But I'm telling you, we know too much. And it's unfortunate, because he has the ability to get such a wide fan base, and not just in horse racing. And unfortunately, this is what he's bringing to the table at this point. This thread on Racing News tweet perfectly explains why this is yeah, exactly. Yeah, Twitter's been nuts today. I mean, it's fun in some ways, because we get to just break news and just go at it, and no hold nothing back. But it's a little depressing, obviously, on a Sunday, especially, nonetheless. Let's see. Should Baffert face a suspension? Well, yeah, he is already, with obviously not being able to enter. I did see a clarification. I don't remember who posted it, so it may have been Pollock Report, but like that they were also going to stop, because a lot of times when a trainer will have, it's like, if the trainer's got a suspension or serving a suspension, they'll run the horse or enter the horse under the assistant. Doug O'Neill did this with Hot Rod Charlie in Louisiana Derby. And of course, that's how they get away with it, or get by with continue to run. I did see that that it's like they're like any horse that's trained by Bob, and no matter who they're entered in by, won't be allowed to run at Churchill during this. So that'll be interesting to see how many tracks follow suit. It'd be nice to see everyone kind of, Maryland Jockey Club, and of course Naira being the Belmont, just be like, no, you're not. I think entries go in tomorrow, I want to say, for the Preakness, and they say no, you're not. Like, we're not going to allow Baffert to do this, and that's what needs to happen. Like, I think it would be a huge positive light if they're, because this is all they're going to talk about, by the way, on NBC leading up to the Preakness. Yeah, I just answered that one. Running another assistant trainer name. I don't think he's going to be able to do that, from what I understand. Yeah, you have to bet his horses every time they show up. Dennis, what's up? What punishment do you guys think is justified? I mean, that's the thing. Like, what punishment is justified versus what he's going to get? I mean, what is the typical $500 fine and like a 5-day ban or something? Like, it's just bullshit. Like, why would you not want to? I mean, yeah, Dennis. Yeah, you saw it, the 7th race. You got to go watch Churchill's 7th race yesterday. I believe it was Crystal Ball. Is that right, Dennis? That won that one for Baffert at Churchill on Saturday. Go watch that. Shoot. Yeah, that's another thing. He's had positive several big races. That's the thing. Like, I haven't heard anything about Gamine on the undercard that day, but gosh, you got to think that, obviously she has a history of this on herself. Not to be clear, it's not her. Like, these horses aren't drugging themselves. Although I have a conspiracy theory that Concert Tour has something to do with this, because he was upset that he couldn't run in the Derby. He contaminated it. So if you want to look at a horse, I think it's Concert Tour that might be behind this. Let's see. De Jour helped with ours. So that's a thing. Like, De Jour cost this person, Beckett, the pick 6. Well, and that's the thing. Like, it helped. Like, we had Gamine singled. We had De Jour, and I think Annex we used. So it's like, as much as we hate this and against it, if they're not going to do anything about it, we can either, as our job is to pick winners, right? As bettors, our job is to make money. Are you just going to say, screw them? The answer is to not let them run. Don't use them. Don't tell them no, because I feel like I had a small exacta ticket that would have cashed, obviously, if you throw Medina Spirit out. But there's millions of dollars that were lost or not won by people that use Mandaloon on top, or had a Mandaloon hot rod essential quality try or whatever, or maybe they use Mandaloon and not Medina Spirit in their their multi-race wagers or whatever it is. I mean, the result is that as bettors, and I know plenty of them, they're just like, I just don't want to bet it because it's frustrating, because everyone, in this case, he's cheating, and it's just hard to make money. And the answer is, unfortunately, you have to bet and pick the cheaters, because if they're not going to do anything about it, our job is to pick the horse that you think is going to win. And unfortunately, you got to know who's juicing the most. And I think we're seeing that right here. I don't want to run this on too long. I just wanted to jump on here and kind of vent it out with you guys. Answer any questions we possibly have. Obviously, this week leading up to the Preakness, we're going to be all over this, and of course, to build up and see if Medina Spirit's even in the race, or Concert Tour, I guess, for that matter. But more than anything, I just wanted to hop on here and because I text all the guys like, can anybody be on here with me, because I need to get on here. Something like this going to change the testing protocols? Unfortunately, I don't know how. I don't see how, until we get some kind of centralized, testing or centralized, governance in charge of this. I don't see how we're going to ever see a system that actually works. The other thing is you get Bob Baffert in front of these old men commissions. Let's just call them that he can just is this a small, they're not just looking at they're only looking at the pure number right there, and well, it's just a small number, and it may be contaminated, and it's not a big deal. And it's just look at the writing, look at everything that's surrounding this, do some work on this. But it's easier for a lot of people just to say, no, Didn't happen. It's fine. It's fine. He'll be good. It's just bullshit. And until something big changes it, or we stop betting it, or whatever. Yeah, I don't see how it's gonna change, to be honest with you. Let's see. Should they not test the day of and get results before the race? Well, that would be great. For big races, that would be interesting to just be like, yeah, I mean, do it that morning, get them in, and be like, if there's any positives, like you're not running. If they don't punish him, if it was a small trainer, I would drug every single horse and dare them to give me a major punishment. I mean, that's the thing, and that's what you're finding with especially with a lot of the smaller. I mean, think about it. If you're a smaller trainer, you're not getting the horses Bob Baffert gets, or name a big trainer. You're at a smaller circuit or whatever. That's why there's such an issue, because you have to compete, right? To feed your family, or to keep your business alive, or your training job, or whatever it is. So you can either choose to not win races and not make money, lose your clients, whatever, or you cheat, you drug, and you do what it takes to win. And unfortunately, that's it. That's where we're at. Because if there's no, because like you guys say, it's like, well, if we get caught, I mean, shit, what is it, $500? I mean, big deal. I mean, who cares? So, and I'm not saying I think it's awful. It's totally awful, and it's obviously hurting the horses, and it's obviously an attribute to that's why the Lasix thing is such bullshit. It's like, I mean, it's like you're focusing on the Lasix issues right now, and we have this shit happening. Like, come on. Yeah, I mean, it's you guys should do a Q&A with the vet. So many questions. Yeah, no, that's a good question, or a good idea, Dan. We know a few, so I think that's something. I think that's something we'll do. I have Baffert's number. We've talked in the past, a long time ago. I mean, I could try to get him on the show. That'd be fun, right? That would be, I think that would go over well. It'd be like a 60 minutes. Any final thoughts? Yeah, again, we'll be back. I think Magic Mike will be on tomorrow. We'll be on for the draw. We'll be on Thursday for Blinkers Off and Magic Mike. And of course, we'll be doing live stuff during the Preakness and on Friday and Saturday. So we'll be back. And obviously the news, if you guys, you just stay tuned, get on our Twitter, get on all our social media, go to the website. Any news that does break, depending on whether it be this, or if it's, the announcement from Pimlico and Preakness, what they're going to do with him moving forward in this race, we'll let you guys know. So that's where you're going to get, just stay tuned. I mean, obviously we're ready. Like we literally had the article ready this morning. We're like, we know this is coming, so let's get the article ready. We've got the article ready for the Preakness, so we're ready. Just waiting for the news to get posted, if it does post, and we'll let you guys know. So thanks everybody for jumping on here and venting with me, asking your questions. We'll have more obviously this week. And again, happy Mother's Day to everybody, to all your wives and mothers out there, and the moms that are listening here. We appreciate everything you guys do and put up with our degenerate asses all year. So thanks, guys, and we'll see you later.